The historical giants of the not too distant past. We are told by medical science and history that they were people like us that suffered from a rare medical disorder called gigantism. But I highly question that narrative. I believe they were something else. Gigantism is a rare but serious medical disorder that affects less than 1% of the human population. It is caused by hyperplasia in the pituitary gland, which causes a person to grow extraordinarily tall. People who have this rare medical condition grow to 7 foot and taller. But people with this condition also suffer from many serious, debilitating medical problems. Here are some, but not all, of the complications from this disorder. Enlarged joints, double vision, weakness, excessive sweating, distorted facial features, and fractures in the spine. People with this condition often have difficulty in walking and use crutches and braces to help them walk. Now, let us look at some of the giantess of the past. The first one, Amelia Schultz, who stood 7'2" and was known for being one of the more beautiful giantess. In these pictures of her, she looks to have good posture. Also, she does not show any signs of any debilitation from gigantism. These pictures of her are around 1914. Now, let us go to another historical giantess, Anna Swan, who is reported to have stood 7'11", who, like the previous giantess, has very good posture with no signs of any debilitations. Let us go now to one more historical giantess, and that is Katja van Dyke. Truly a very giant woman. Reportedly stood 8'4½". More modern sources state she stood 7'1", but looking at the historical photos of her, the older sources look to be much more accurate. Like the other giantess, her posture is very good. Also, she shows no signs of debilitation. She was known as the tallest woman in 1954. There is also historical film footage of her, which the film footage shows she moves very easily and fluidly. Now, let us go to the giant historical men. Like the giant women, they have very good posture. Also, there is no visible signs of any of the complications of gigantism. Some of the historical giant men were known for their great strength. One of them was a giant named Angus MacAskill, who lived from 1825 to 1863, who stood 7'9" and reportedly could lift up a ship's anchor that weighed 2,800 pounds and carry it around over his shoulder. Also, it is reported that he could toss 300-pound men in demonstrations of his incredible strength. Then there is this historical giant, Goji Mintu, a giant Romanian boxer who stood 8 foot tall with a boxing record of 2 wins, 0 losses, with his 2 wins coming by knockouts in the first round. Suspiciously dies early in his career in 1963. In other words, he was probably murdered. I am speculating here, but I believe it was very likely the reason he was murdered because Goji would have been undefeatable, and therefore a lot of interest in the heavyweight boxing division would have been lost. In turn, a lot of money would have been lost. And what is one of the more common reasons people murder other people over? And that is money. But back to my point I am making, is how could it possibly be that people in the past who suffered from the debilitating condition of gigantism did not suffer from any of the complications like modern people do? In fact, historical giants seem to be enhanced by this debilitating condition, which does not make any sense or adds up. Ridiculously, it does not add up. So these people were not us or could have been us. So the question is, who and what were they? I believe who they were was a different species of human, a much larger species. This is not to be confused with race, but rather species. I will give you a few examples of what I'm talking about, and we see it in nature a lot. In North America, we have 2 bears, the smaller black bear, and then we have the larger grizzly bear. Both creatures are bears, but different species of bears. In Africa, they have 2 different species of rhino, the bigger white rhino and the smaller black rhino. In equines, we have the horse, and then we have the donkey. Again, different species of the same type of creature. I could give you many more examples, but I think you get the point. One of the last of the species of human was this man, Johan Pedersen, who stood 8'8" and died in 1984 at the age of 71. I am not 100% sure, but I believe this species of human has gone extinct. That is why today's giants, you will not see them do great feats of strength or want to box for the heavyweight boxing title, but rather you'll see them in crutches and braces and wheelchairs. Because when we get this large, which is unnatural for us, we suffer from many debilitating health problems. But the larger species of human, this was simply their natural size. But in the not too distant past, these giants lived among us in our cities and towns. But for some reason, they do not want us to know about them. Anyway, thank you for watching my video and have a good day.